the fastest man alive? Did Marvel create the fastest being in the entire universe, or was it DC with their Flash that forever changed the definition of fast? Well, that's why we're here, to find out who's actually the fastest. So, here is the ultimate speedster battle, Quicksilver versus the Flash, who is faster. Let's dive right into it, shall we? Comics or movies, shows.
Barry Allen is the Flash.
Before you kill us in our sleep, let's just look at some of the data. That's why we wanted to know what their first top speeds are. If we look at the first issue of The Flash, which came out in January of 1940, we realize that it was actually Jay Garrick who was introduced as the Flash in the comics. He gained superhuman strength after inhaling hard water vapor when he fell asleep in the lab. He then realized that he has unmatched speed. Realizing that he can use this power for good, he actually becomes the Flash who can run in front of bullets and save people from getting hurt. The speed that Jay possesses, not counting on the Speed Force, is equal to 770 miles per hour. So that kind of gives us a little start. But what about Barry Allen? Yeah, he's the actual Flash that we've grown to know and love. Even though Jay was first, we will be talking about Barry here. So if we look at the first issue when he woke up from the 4-month coma and started fighting for good, then we will realize that his speed was much slower than it is now. As for their fastest moments, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Before we do, let's look at Quicksilver's starting speed in the comics. He started out as a kid who got incredible power when he was exposed to High Evolutionary's isotope E. Quicksilver could then reach speed of Mach 2, which is equal to 7,672 miles per hour. If we look at Jay Garrick, that's about 10 times faster, but that's not nearly as fast as Barry's speed. So, who's going to be the winner here? For that, we'll also have to look at their speeds in the shows and movies. Again, Barry Allen is a much more popular superhero, so he appeared in both movies and had 2 TV shows made about him. So, in the movies, we've seen him run alongside Superman, who actually is one of the fastest aliens alive. Regardless if they would run, like actually putting one foot in front of the other, then there's no doubt that Barry Allen would win. The only way Superman would ever have a chance of beating Barry would be if he flew across the track. All of this just means that Superman and the Flash were going way past the speed of light. But what about Quicksilver? When we're talking about Quicksilver in the movies, we have to mention one of the coolest scenes in all of movie history. It was the one where he poetically saves Magneto and Charles from the police officers by having a poetic run across the prison's kitchen, moving fired bullets, tasting sauces, and even kicking the crap out of police officers with a single push of the finger. That scene was epic. That was pretty much the fastest he's run in the movies. But wait a minute. How can he move already fired bullets when we all know how he died in Avengers Age of Ultron? But you see, that's the thing. There isn't one single version of Quicksilver. The different directors create different versions of the same character. In one, he's playing with explosions and bullets. In the other, he barely has enough time to save a child and he dies from actual bullets. And it wasn't just one bullet. And it's the same with Barry Allen. In the movies, we saw him running past the speed of light in the show. We don't even recognize him. That Barry can only run at speeds no higher than 2,532 miles per hour. And this is more than enough for him to travel through time. So what gives? How are we ever going to determine who's the fastest? Well, to do that, we'll have to look at the top speed. What's the top speed anyone has ever assigned to these two? And for this, we'll not discriminate. It could be anything from movies, TV shows, comics, everything is fair, as long as we figure out who the fastest man alive actually is. But first, we'll have to look at the death battle.
On the count of 3. 3.
Maybe you've heard of this YouTube channel called Death Battle. If you have, then you know that they have a video where they pin Quicksilver and the Flash against one another. First, they give us a little intro about the characters, and then they tell us all about their abilities before placing them in a digital ring and letting them brawl it out until one comes out victorious. And you know what? Watching the first few minutes of the animated battle, we thought, oh man, the Flash is actually going to lose. Quicksilver is actually whooping his butt. As soon as we said that, the Flash turned Quicksilver's artificial tornado against. Even though Quicksilver has much better fighting skills, he just simply didn't have the speed. The Flash gave him a good beating before teleporting him into the Speed Force. There, no one can beat the Flash. He reigns as king of the realm of speed because that's the source of his power. As soon as Quicksilver entered this realm, he just knew that he would be done for. And yes, after a little more roughing, the Flash delivered his final blow, a lightning bolt. This sent Quicksilver flying halfway across the world and he got impaled on the sword of a samurai statue. But even though we've discussed a lot of the low speeds and who would win in a death battle, what are the ultimate speeds of these two? Who saved more people? First, we'll talk about Quicksilver. He has been considered to run faster than sound and therefore he's considered hypersonic. At one point in the comics, he ran from the Himalayas to Indonesia and it only took him a few seconds. He's been known to have outran a lightning bolt, and a lightning bolt travels at 3,700 miles per second. This would give Quicksilver a speed that is 17,499 times faster than the speed of sound. On top of all that, we know that he has once outran a radio wave, and those travel at approximately the speed of light. This means that Quicksilver can run near the speed of light. But what about the Flash? Well, you might think that this is pretty insane, but the Flash has been portrayed several times running faster than the speed of light. But the craziest had to be when he saved 500,000 people from a nuclear explosion in Korea. There were 532,000 people in the country. He carried about 1.5 people into a remote location 7 miles away from the explosion. This means that he made 354,667 70-mile trips, which will add up to 24,826,690 miles. All of this had to be done in 0.00001 microseconds. Doing some calculations, we'll realize that he can travel 2.5 quintillion miles per second, which is equal to, are you ready for this? 13 trillion times faster than the speed of light. Jaw freaking drop. Final results. Well, from what we saw previously, the answer is pretty obvious. I mean, Quicksilver is pretty fast and he has a good heart. But even though he can run millions of times faster than the average human, as well as think millions of times faster, Barry has him beat. How do we know this? Well, that's because the Flash is capable of processing information in just a single attosecond. To give you a little comparison, the shortest time we as humans have been able to measure were 12 attoseconds. This man can think trillions of times faster than the average human. That means that all the thoughts that are going through Quicksilver's head, Barry thought of them 1 million times faster. Those are incomprehensible speeds, and that's why we're going to proclaim the Scarlet Speedster, the Flash, the fastest man alive, and the winner of this competition. On a related note, we wanted to know which of these superheroes do you think is cooler? You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.